Professor Burda, which currencies will Europe most likely use in the year 2023?
That's a loaded question. There are many possibilities, and in the course of my talk, I'd like to explain that there are basically three possibilities. It's very difficult at this point in time to say 100% it'll be one or the other, so maybe I should just give you those scenarios. One is that we'll all still be using the euro, and with wonderful conditions. And the second scenario is only half of Europe will be using the euro, and the other countries will be using their own old national currencies. And a third possibility is that Germany will be using its own currency. And these all have very, very different implications for the way Europe trades with each other and the way it does business with the rest of the world.
Professor Burda, to what extent do currencies define the limits of further integration in Europe?
Well, it's been very clear that because of the common currency, trade with coming from Germany with other parts of Europe has been intensified. So if you look at the German-Spanish trade relationship or the German-French relationship, or even the relationship of German trade with Eastern European countries, trade and the existence of the euro as an important currency that everyone wants to hold as a reserve has meant that trade with Germany has become deeper. And you see this on the data side. We see that Germany's increased its percentage of exports as a share of GDP from maybe 25% in the 1990s to over 45% today. This is a huge increase. It means that Germany is in bed with these other countries in the Eurozone and the rest of the EU, like it or not. So this means the currencies are important. It's not the only motor of integration, but it's certainly an important one. It's also been a vehicle for countries with traditionally high inflation rates, for example, Greece and Italy, to join a regime of more stable currencies and economic relations.
Professor Burda, which impacts does the currency system have on the tourism industry in Europe?
Well, that's a very interesting question because tourism is especially near and dear to the hearts of Germans. Obviously, tourism is a non-traded good in the narrow sense. You can't enjoy a Greek beach in Germany. Greece can't export the beach to Germany. But on the other hand, the service is exported. So the service that one would take if one goes to a beach in Greece or in Spain or in Portugal is really an export good. It's a different type of export. And for that export to be affordable is one of the most important aspects. Tourism has a high elasticity of demand. When people are short on money, when the price is bad, usually the tourists go somewhere else or they don't go at all. And I think it's important for these southern countries that have had the euro, they need to worry about sharing a currency with a country like Germany means that to stay competitive they have to keep their prices down, because countries that don't have the euro, like Turkey, like Tunisia, basically have been able to cut into their market by offering cheaper rates, and people who need the lower rates will take advantage of them.
Professor Burda, how can we eliminate the tilt of excessive national debt in Europe, and how likely is a success in this regard?
Well, it's not an accident that we call the debt Schuldenberg. It's a mountain of debt. And you cannot move a mountain in a day. You can't move a mountain in a year. It takes 5 to 10 years of hard work to reduce the level of indebtedness that we observe, say, in Greece or in Portugal or in Ireland. This accumulation of debt is the culmination of a lot of bad decisions and some bad luck. And it's going to take a lot of hard work to go back, and it means tighter budgets, not necessarily too tight, because tight budgets often cause a bad economic condition at the same time, but also you need to have more economic growth. So economic growth means sort of sustainable growth, growth that actually leads to businesses and business ideas that are still around in 5 or 10 years. This is really important for a country in tourism. A quick devaluation or an introduction of a new currency that would be devalued in a country that's in trouble would have a short-term effect, but in time the inflation rate would pick up again, and all these advantages would be short-lived. So it's clear that a country like Greece could always adopt its own currency again. It would be very painful, but it would only help for the short run. I think it's important to get a handle on the debt means countries have to finally get control of their fiscal situation, the budgets, in a politically sustainable way, which means the people have to be behind these decisions. And this has been a problem for the past 3 or 4 years, is the people in these troubled countries are upset, rightfully so, because governments have done this over their heads. Government got them into debt over their heads without asking them, and now they're in a troubled situation. They're being asked to make sacrifices. It's understandable to any person with common sense that the common person in Greece or in Spain is upset. But we need to get those people on our side so that we can have a solution that's sustainable and will be around in the next 10 years.
And how can we improve competitiveness also in the tourism industry in Europe?
Well, as with the case of the mountain of debt, it takes time. And I think it took time for Greece or Spain to run into troubles. And it took also some time for Turkey to become such an attractive alternative. Again, there's so many tourist places in the world. There's so many places one can spend vacations. So one has to develop an attitude. I think this is where the macroeconomics stops and the microeconomics kicks in. People have to have an incentive. They have to really know that there's going to be more in it for them, for the owners of the tourism businesses when they do the investments. A lot of tourist attractions need serious investment. It's not just a paint job, but needs to be seriously renovated, and that's an investment that costs money up front and needs to be amortized over good business over the next 10 years. And I think governments can help by establishing a stress-free environment, an environment where taxes are stable and not rising, where corruption is kept in limits, and that businesses don't have to worry about too many regulations to keep them distracted from the primary business that they're involved in.